Now here in today's class we are dealing with the class Amphibia. Now the name indicated means amphi. The name is derived from amphi and bions. That means amphi means basically it is dual and bia is life. Bios is life. So the amphibian is, that means they are organism that is adapted to dual lifestyle. That means they can live in aquatic as well as in terrestrial habitat. Okay, so basically here you see they have got a great body structural differences from that we were dealing with the pieces, the Chondrichthyes and Austrictis. Now here you see it is for the first time the body is divisible into head and the trunk region. Tail may be present or may not be present. Then the skin is devoid of any sort of scales. The skin is very moist, and it's also functions as a respiratory organ basically in the terrestrial condition. Now the eyes, they are the first, they possesses eyes with eyelids. A tympanum is present. You know what is tympanum? Tympanum basically it's a eardrum. That means they can hear too. Now then they have the alimentary canal, the urinary and the reproductive tract. They open into a common chamber called cloaca. Now this cloaca is opens to the exterior. Now respiration is gills when they are in the larval stage or they are in the aquatic form, lungs when they are in the terrestrial form, and through skin also. Now the heart is three chambered. They have two auricles and one ventricles, and they are cold blooded animal. Cold blooded means their body temperature changes with a change in the environment. Now sexes are separate, fertilization is internal, they are oviparous, but development is indirect. Development is indirect means they follow certain larval stages to attain the maturity. Now common example is bufo, that is the toad, Rana tigrina, the hyla, the tree frog, the salamander, Ichthyopsis, there's limbless amphibia and etc. Now here in the next class we go to reptilia. Now reptiles, the very word reptile means creeping or crawling. Raptor means something that can creep and crawl. What is creep and crawl? That means they don't jump around. They walk slowly on the floor or on the ground, dragging their body. Okay, so that is creeping. Okay, now see their body. The body of the reptile basically is covered by dry and conified skin. Conified skin means they are called epidermal scales or scutes. Okay, now they don't have an external ear. They don't have an external ear opening, but tympanum is present. They have eyes. Limbs are also present, two pair, the forelimb and the hind limb. And here the heart is three chambered, but it appears to be a four chambered. Okay, now this four chambered, they have got a false fourth division, and this is another very important phylogenetic changes which shows a link between the amphibian and the higher vertebrates. Okay, now the most important members of this class, they are again poikilothermic, and the most important among them are the snakes and lizards. And another identifying feature is most of them possesses claw. Exceptional the snakes, because they are limbless, but they are limbless externally, but when you see the skeleton possesses the rudimentary bones of the forelimb and the hind limb. Fertilization is again internal. They are oviparous and they don't have a tadpole or metamorphic phase, so development is direct. Okay, now example, the turtles, the lizards, the snakes, Caliotis, that is the garden lizard, Hemidactylus, the wall lizard, the poisonous snake, Naja, the cobra. These are all belonging to this class Reptilia. And next comes the class of aves. The aves is, the characteristic features of aves is they possess the presence of feathers on their body, and they are capable of flight. So these are the things, the forelimb modified into wings is another phylogenetically evolved character that separates the aves from the rest of the group. And the skeleton structure shows the phylogenetic relationship between the reptiles and the aves. There are certain remnants or certain fossils of extinct reptiles in the Jurassic time. that is Archaeopteryx. Now they show that they are reptiles that possesses wings and beaks, and the only difference is from today's birds is their beak had teeth. But the present birds what we see around, they don't have teeth, so that is a flight adaptation to make the skull light. The animals is devoid of a teeth, so they are modified forelimbs modified into wings. That is a class characteristics. Now the hind limb is generally scales and is modified for working and perching, and they have got clasping adaptation so that they can cling to the branches. Again, they have claws and they possesses scales, epidermal scales, that also gives you a phylogenetic relationship with the reptiles. Okay, skins are dry without the gland, and the bones, the endoskeleton, if you find, they have got pneumatophores. That means they have got air cavities that makes the bone light and porous so that they can adapt to the flight mode or flight mode of life. Now the blood, now here is another phylogenetic diversion, that is they are homeothermous. That means the body temperature remains constant, and that is again a morphological modification or phylogenetic modification that makes it more advanced in compared to the reptiles. Again, the respiration is through lungs. Now they possesses air sacs, that is a supplementary respiratory mechanism, makes the body light as well as provides extra oxygen while the bird is in flight. They have got special muscles modification for flight adaptation. Sexes are separate, fertilization is internal, and they are oviparous, and the development is direct. They don't have larval, and all the birds that you see around belongs to this.